There's a difference between tough and strict.
I am strict. So we have been parents for 3 years and some months, and along the way we have learned so much about ourselves, about each other, and also learned a lot from our children. So in this video we're going to be sharing the lessons that we have learned from our children and also just from life since becoming parents. This is in honor of Father's Day. Father's Day was, some countries celebrated it on Sunday, which was 19th. Other countries celebrated it on Tuesday, 21st. Yeah, so babe, you go first. What lesson have you learned from our children? What lesson have you learned from our children?
They're a blessing. That's it. There's no like, once the kid is born, there's just something chemical that happens. Okay, it happened to me. Everything changed about me, like from the moment I held our firstborn. Yes, instantly it dawned on me that this is for life. Like, this is your responsibility.
Not take backs.
Yeah, but the first real feeling was chemical, and was like, wow, this came from me and you.
For me, I feel like the first lesson that stands out is their faith.
Yeah.
Like, children are not afraid. You tell him, don't jump off this chair. You tell him 1,001 times, but somehow he will still do it, knowing that my dad is going to hold me.
Or if I fall, I'll be fine.
Yeah. Or they will refuse to eat a meal, knowing that the next meal is coming. Like, their faith and just...
It's amazing. It always reminds me how probably faithless I am a lot of times, because they just know. Tomorrow I'm going to sleep. Someone's going to come and wake me up. I'm going to eat. Whatever I'll eat, I know that I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
I know that I'm going, my mom or dad is going out of the house, but they're coming back.
Yeah.
And it teaches me a lot about that. Also, maybe something about patience. Patience is I think one of the, it's like a work in progress. Maybe for most parents, but I'm talking about myself, because you just have to be patient whether you like it or not, because it just reminds me how Christ is as my Father or as my God, because you just tell the child, hey, it's time to shower, or it's time to eat, or don't go there or don't go there, but they will tell you, they'll whine,
They'll push the limits,
or they'll cry because they really want to go there, or they want to do that, but then they fall, and then you have to swallow all your and just
can't
go
say
and
I told you so.
Yeah, and you say, oh, I love you, I'm so sorry. Oh, then you push in like a small word that, maybe let's not do this again.
Yeah.
But it's just powerful how God deals with us, because there are billions of human beings who are complaining to God every second. God, I asked you for this, you gave me this. God, I'm praying, and you're not answering this.
I think the next lesson that stands out for me that I've learned from our kids is their hunger to learn. I think it's also just the state that our son is at, but even our daughter, just because she's not yet very verbal, she doesn't have many words in her vocabulary, but they always want to explore, to touch, asking questions, why, how, when, why 1,010 times, but their hunger to learn. And it just inspires me, because we don't know everything. As much as we are adults, as much as we are their parents, we don't always have the answers to these things. Sometimes they ask us questions and you've never really thought about it. There's a time he asked us, what is peace? But it made me think, like, have we really thought about the definition of peace? So we had to find a way around it, but you have to describe it for them. But it just opens my eyes. Like how much am I learning? How much am I adding to myself? What value am I adding to myself? Have I stopped learning? Do I think that now I've reached capacity? I know everything. Yeah. And now let's share lessons we have learned about ourselves since becoming parents. I've learned that as much as I love our kids so much, there's only so much I can do to protect them. Our son had an accident in September and he lost one of his scissors. And we tried for so many months to protect him. Don't do this, trying to make sure he doesn't fall. We bought these spongy kids mats and what, but he just fell that day and the tooth came out and we felt so helpless. It just showed us that as much as we love these children, we cannot always protect them, and the best person to protect them is God. Like, just commit them in God's hands. And even after that, there have been so many falls, especially around his mouth, but his teeth have stayed intact, and we just keep praying for them because you guys are hard. And I think it's me that is softer. My husband is always like, leave him, let him fall. But me on the other hand, I'm like, oh my God, like, can I just keep holding you so you don't get hurt? Yeah.
What I've learned is I have so much strength in me than I used to think. You know, when you have like one child, you're like, oof, this is a lot of work. And then you get a second one and you're like, oof, this is a lot of work. But somehow you just keep going. And I have a friend of mine, he has 5. And sometimes I ask him, you know, well, how do you do it? But, well, it's the grace of God.
Yeah.
And parenting is really the grace of God. And these days I've got to realize that I'm blessed and it's a privilege for me to actually walk this journey. And so it's something which I need to embrace, because now it's starting to dawn on me that school is coming so soon. And my mother was telling me that once school starts, that's it. It's now a totally different journey, because now it's a routine that will not stop until the child is an adult. So there's so many lessons to learn.
And then now I want us to share lessons we have learned about each other as a couple since becoming parents. I'll go first. I have seen you sacrifice so much for us. Like, I knew you were that kind of person. I knew that you had a big heart. Your capacity to give and to love was immense. But since becoming parents, like, first of all, in the labor ward, seeing you in the labor ward, rubbing my back, following every instruction, going with me to the antenatal visits. You know, many men chicken out of that. And I feel like it's important for men to attend those things, like attend everything to do with your children. Also, seeing you take care of a newborn, learn how to change a diaper, learn how to shower a baby, and being vulnerable enough to tell me, you know what, I don't know how to hold the child's head, even me, I don't know. And then we learn together, failing and fumbling together, and seeing you cover us in prayer. It always warms my heart. So that's something that I have seen from you. I knew you had the capacity to do it, but I guess I didn't know to what extent.
Something I've learned about you: you really love children, and most of all, your children, because even just like when someone is tough on one of them, you really want to know why before and yet it's probably a genuine reason.
Yeah, but I just want to be in the know. Guys, can you believe that between Mark and I, he's the tougher parent? Babe, you're the tougher parent.
I think it depends on what we mean by tougher parent, because I think we are quite even.
No.
Yeah.
Babe,
There's a difference.
yeah.
There's a difference between tough and strict.
I am strict. You're the tougher parent. Like if I wasn't here.
You really want to go over and above just for family, and yes, it's good to, and we all have to find an opportunity to love on ourselves, but putting the family and the children as first priority has opened my eyes to realize that they are so important in our lives, that we must actually do everything we can to make sure when they're older, they don't regret, or we don't look back and say, I wish I had done this for them when they were this or this age. But within your power, you will try as much as possible to make sure they live to their best, the fullest.
I think the last lesson that I want us to share is parenting while still being a lover and a partner to your person. You guys, especially really the entire journey of parenting, newborn, toddler, school, it's taxing. It's taxing on your finances, on your time, on your energy, on your body. But we've struggled. Some aspects of our relationship has definitely struggled. But what I love is that we have recognized when we are struggling, and we know how to pull ourselves out of that struggle. Like, you recognize that, you know what, we haven't had time alone to each other, or when we are talking, we're only talking about the kids, and we're conscious of that, and that pulls us to be intentional on growing our relationship as a couple. We keep telling each other, you know what, these kids are going to be out of here. Like, yes, our lives are busy because of them right now, but very soon the youngest will be 6 years old, and they're all involved in school, and what are we going to have after? Yeah, so I feel like that has also showed us and helped us to be intentional about nurturing our love and our relationship. Yes,
and also just trying to be patient with each other, because sometimes you've been overwhelmed by the kids all day.
Yeah, so you're tired. So your line is...
And then then your wife or husband comes and tells you a statement. So you didn't do this, you didn't do that. But like, we don't notice that this person has been
doing ABCD
with doing so many things just to make sure. I remember when one of our house helps left abruptly. My wife was literally on top of everything, and I'm grateful for that. But we had to be sensitive with each other and supporting each other, because we knew that the most important thing is to make sure there is peace in the relationship, because when the relationship is peaceful, then
everything else will.
And honestly, I know it's a cliche statement, but a happy wife, a happy home. Because when she's all moody in the home, no one will be happy.
But I have to say also, babe, to do with nannies and house helps, it's more than just destabilizing the family dynamics, but it also destabilizes emotions for us, because you have this person that the kids love, the kids are engaged with. Like, you even now have the ability to be flexible with your work, like go out, work, come back, knowing that your children are in safe hands. And then this happens suddenly, and then your entire dynamic has to change at home. Of course, the workload, cooking, dishes, cleaning the house, looking after the kids, showering them. Like it's taxing on one's emotions, and the fact that it also happened suddenly was tough for me. So I was dealing with the emotions of that. Yeah, but I also want to thank you for being patient through that. Really, parenting, the lessons never end. Every single day we're learning something new. To be patient with one another, to be patient with the children. Daily we keep reminding ourselves that these children are actually a blank slate. Like, they actually don't know these things. So sit down and talk to them. Even if you're talking to them for the 5th time, sit down and have a conversation with them before you put consequences.
Which reminds me of something that is very significant. What they see happening between the two of us, they register it very quickly. And what they see you doing, whether mom or dad, be rest assured they will do.
They're copying, because there are times when I'll be in the bedroom and then Mark will come in and give me a hug, and you see both of them hovering at our feet. Even me. So they're watching. They're taking note. We thought we'd do this video to also get you thinking. If you're a parent, if you're a mom, you're a dad, you're an auntie, you're an uncle, sit down and reflect. Aside from the fatigue, what have you learned from parenting? What have you learned about your partner? What has your relationship taught you as a couple who are now parents and also lovers? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications.
Yes. And come back again.
And come back next week, Wednesday. Bye.